We're so lucky in Australia. Eucalypts are just these incredible organic sculptures. There's nothing like a eucalypt anywhere in the world. It wasn't until I started climbing trees that I started actually sort of looking up and appreciating how spectacular they are in our daily lives. When you're attached to a tree, you get a real sense for the way that it moves and responds to wind, or you get up to the canopy and you get these amazing views.
My name is Duncan Young, and I'm a climbing arborist and a furniture maker.
Every tree is perfect for its environment, and any work that you do to it is going to be detracting from that in some way. And that doesn't mean that you should never do work on a tree. You know, I wouldn't have a job if that was the case. But it does mean that sort of like a less is more approach is always best.
This tree is a river red gum, and it's really significant for the area. You can tell that it's been slightly stunted in its growth because of a shallow root plate. These trees can grow up to 50, 60 metres tall. So for that to have grown to about 20 metres tells me that it's got a fairly shallow root plate, and so it's put most of its energy into growing at the trunk. This tree would be around 300 years old, so predating colonisation. We can see that there's been a shed put in behind me, and because of that, this has turned into more of a high traffic area, and so we've got to do some work to it, you know, to get out some of the dead wood and just make it a little bit safer. I've tried to take the opportunity to use the dead wood for habitat generation. I've cut the ends out of the dead wood, but left the stubs there in the hope that they'll hollow out and they'll be really good nesting habitat for cockatoos and galahs. It's not the easiest job getting up here, but geez, it's worth it. It's just astounding. Never gets old. So this is a really good example of the sorts of hollows. It's right up in the top of the canopy. It's over 40 metres up, and you can see there's no birds or possums in there at the moment, but you can see all the little leaves someone's put in there as a nest, and all the bark's been smoothed out by coming in and out. So it's a really perfect example of where the value in these trees lie. You can see that they're so high up, they're so protected, and you know, it's an amazing vantage point. It's not just the fauna that they support, it's also the flora. Through the mycelium network, through the root system, this tree will be connecting and sharing nutrients for all the trees around it, and they create a sort of micro ecosystem amongst themselves. So during periods of drought, this tree has the potential to support all the trees around it. Things like that can be really easily overlooked, so it's really important to value it properly. A veteran tree is a tree that's sort of gone into maturity. They're these magnificent sort of monolithic sculptures. And if you think about it in the context of urban environments where foliage density has been decreased because of population increase and development, a tree is not going to be given the opportunity to grow for 200, 300, 400 years. So these veteran trees that we have, they're never going to come back once they're gone. As my appreciation was growing for trees and timber, it became perverse or obscene to just be having these magnificent trees that are just ending up getting burned for firewood or get chipped into mulch. So I started squirreling logs away, taking them home and doing spoon carving, and then that sort of led to doing some furniture making courses. And the end point for timber work is furniture making, and so I decided to pursue that as a career. This one here is ironbark, Eucalyptus tricarpa. This I got in Victoria in the Dandenong Ranges. Similar to like a black butt or a spotted gum, it's sort of got those little flecks in it, and it gets a sort of residue over the edge, over the top surface, which makes it glue resistant. So, you've got to choose the right applications for it, but it's just a really beautiful, rich timber. This one is Blakely's red gum, which is a subspecies of red gum. commonly found sort of on the border of South Australia and Victoria. You can see the sort of lengths. I have to collect what I can carry, basically, and what I can fit in my truck. So never really long lengths, but it's really usable in terms of furniture making. Sustainability is a huge kind of focus in my furniture making. I try and source my own timber through my tree work and use that in my furniture. And in a sense, I kind of see that almost as like a micro version of a carbon capturing system. A tree is this huge warehouse of carbon sitting in the ground. And as soon as you cut it down, that carbon starts to be released into the atmosphere. And if you chip it into mulch, then all those small bits are going to break down really quickly, and that's all just going to be released into the environment. Through salvaging timber from those tree removals and then using it in my furniture, I really try and see that as a way of honouring the tree that was removed. I try and use native timbers as much as possible so that I can elevate them to their rightful place and make people realise that they have the same value as any other timbers, and in a lot of cases, when put to the right application, are actually sort of more suited to certain things than, you know, your English or American oaks. I really try to communicate the value of timber, and through that hope that people can make the same connections to other materials and see that all materials have come from the earth at a certain point and deserve a level of reverence that stands outside of cycles to failure and modern manufacturing and consumerist sort of ideas. Especially in the face of human-induced climate change and urban deforestation, I feel like we're at this critical point where there are still these veteran trees in urban landscapes that can be protected and looked after and conserved in a way that is much more sustainable and manageable in a long-term sense. A tree is a living, breathing organism. Their value far exceeds something that can just be rebuilt if it's damaged. It's a case with trees where you don't know what you've got until it's gone.